Yo guys, what's up? Dominator here, and welcome to a new 0 Hour cast. Today we have Freestyler against Boyka on Tournament Desert. So we've got Freestyler in the north, playing as the green Toxin, and in the south we have Boyka playing as the red Laser General. Back on the most common map, Tournament Desert, and this game is from a series that I hosted on GameReplays.org. I was hosting a mini-series called King of the Hill. So a player becomes king and they hold the king status, and then somebody has to challenge the king. In this case, Freestyler was the king. Boyka challenged him. So I think it's a best of 11. This is the very first game. I'm only going to be casting this first game because it seems to be, to me, one of the longest and one of the best games from the series. Also, the first game in a series like this, always both players are usually super confident and want to try and get the mental edge over the enemy by winning the first game. It kind of sets like a precedent that you're going to be playing strong throughout the series, and you're gonna go on to win. So this is the very first game from that from best of 11 or best of 9, I believe it was. I think it was best of 11. So yeah, we've got Laser against Tox. We've got Boyka going forward to get this aggressive worker. He is going to be successful. That's really good. And also, I think I saw an ambulance go into this Chinook here, or maybe a V. So he's going to drop that off. It is an ambulance. The reason he's done an ambulance is because it's nice and cheap. It's got more HP than a V, I'm pretty sure. It can't be killed by the Toxin. It's more resistant to the rockets. It can take more hits before going down. I think that's partly due to either having more armor against rockets or just more HP. But yeah, it does take longer, and also it can't be killed, as I said, by the tunnel. So we've got some good harassment here from both players. Actually, 2 workers gone down so far. Technically, it's going to cause a bit of damage to the ambo. Boyka paying attention though, and collected it, killed a load of workers there. All the workers gone down, and the Chinook gone down. So good harassment from both players so far. The Chinook here needs to resume collecting. This Chinook is still over here. Workers have been rebuilt. A little bit dangerous for Freestyler, who's just rebuilt them. You see the Toxin try to do the damage to the Chinook. You actually did get a little bit of damage off to it if that wasn't from the RPGs. Killed, I think, another 1 worker at least, or 2. We've got some more harassment now coming from Freestyler, which is good. We've got 1 technical coming forward, another technical here with a Terror Tech. We've got some more harassment from Boyka, just going back and forth. Freestyler not doing a very good job in defending against this, to be honest. He just needs to put 1 tech here. He needs to get them workers inside of there or inside the tech fast before there's get more of them get run over. He's lost. That ambo is definitely more than paid for itself. That technical does vet up, but it has killed another, what was that, like another 4 workers. Chinook is now going to come over here. I think he's going to start collecting. It should override the workers, and it should start collecting, meaning that these workers have to wait a second before they can collect. We've got some V's coming forward. A little bit dangerous going too close to that Toxin tunnel. That is going to go down. We've got a big tech army coming forward here. I'm going to do a bit of a base trade situation. I think he saw that these Boyka's V's were kind of out of position and has gone straight to the base. It's a very good thing to do, and I think he's going to try and probably go for the supply and then go for the dozer. Meanwhile, the V's are coming back though, so Freestyler, if he's paying attention, should really collect these now and get out of there, because he's probably going to lose to the V's if we see some good micro from Boyka. But Freestyler is paying attention. He's going to take down that V, very low health. It's just going to escape. Probably 2 more hits and that V's probably going down. The fact that it's got 1 veteran stripe means that it does have a little bit more HP or armor against the RPGs. A little bit harder to kill. The Chinook is still collecting over there. I think it's probably done 1 trip back already, but remember, every time you steal 600 from your enemy supply, it might not seem much, but at the end of the game, when you've taken 600 from your enemy, so the enemy is down 600 and you're up 600, it's a difference of 1200. So even though it is long range mining and it does take a while to do that, but you are stealing slowly from your enemy. 1200 difference each time, so definitely worth doing. These techs now are pretty vetted up and almost got that 1v. I think was it RPGs that died there? most of the technicals at least escaping. That Chinook is going to be scared off. Chinook of course does cost 1200, so I suppose as long as it's done 2 trips it's paid for itself, but also taking money from the enemy. Just of course what you want to be doing. Technicals are going to come in. Technicals do need to be careful about what kind of engagement they take, because one bad engagement and you get your tech count reset, and especially losing all them veteran stripes is not a good thing, because if you want to be holding off this V army, which might even just is he going to charge down the center? I think he's just going to charge down the center. If you want to be holding off these, you need a good amount of technicals. So we've got some more harassment coming from Freestyler, which is good. The Chinook's all on this side are dead. That Chinook's going to go down, so Boykin now going to be very low on money, but in the meantime we've got a big engagement over here. 1V has gone down, 1 tech has gone down. Because he's got these amount of techs though, Boykin has got to be a little bit cautious, whereas if he took that bad engagement before and lost all of them techs, or lost the majority of them, it would have been much easier for Boykin just to come in and just destroy his base. When this war factory goes down, which I think it is going to, that's going to be very problematic for Freestyler, because the arms dealer is the main thing you need in beating USA, to be honest. You need to be mobile against USA, you need to be harassing like he has been doing with the techs and with the quads. Boykin now is on no money at all. I think he has to sell that war factory, but he has no dozer though, so he kind of has to start collecting with that Chinook. It is very low though, but it can drop off some supplies. I think he's probably got anything up to 600 there. These Vs though are going to be a bit of a problem for Freestyler, but it's probably looking better for Freestyler because he does have enough units out. He is collecting from the center. He doesn't have his oil yet. He needs to sell that barracks, because one problem he's going to have is if these Vs get vetted up, then they're going to be harder to kill. So you see, like, they've got that one's already heroic, so it's going to be really, really hard to kill. Better to sell the buildings, get the money back, and don't let him get the kills, because they just become harder and harder to kill. So the tunnel's all been taken out. He is continuing to drive forward as the toxin tunnel tries to attack. And the reason he's doing that is so the damage doesn't get off on the V. So it's actually turning out to be quite a close game. Didn't expect it to be this kind of a weird situation where Boykin actually controls both of the bases at the moment, but Freestyle is in the middle and kind of both of the sides. These Vs are kind of trapped now, I think. So a little bit of a weird situation. It's got Boykin coming down this left hand side. That tunnel is going to go down, just needs to cancel it. It's just going to be $800 lost. Did he cancel it? I think he may have. In the meantime, Boykin's got no dozer, so every building that he loses is another step towards his death. Freestyler going for the oil. Boykin knows he has to kind of stop that, but these Vs, because they're so battered up, they even go near this Stinger and it's actually not even doing that much damage. I mean, that one's gone down to half, but he's easily going to escape, and that's just going to self-repair, even without the ambulance. It's just going to self-repair. I think this game is looking much better for Freestyler, just because Boykin doesn't have any dozer. If he still had a dozer, this would be probably a lot more of a closer game. Boykin needs to be careful, even though that V is vetted up with 2 stripes. Still does need to be careful that he doesn't lose it. He's trying to probably... Is he trying to get back to his base, I think? He's trying to get back to his base, and if he regroups, actually, this is looking pretty strong. He's just got to be careful that he doesn't get terror teched in the meantime, because, I mean, if that goes down, then he's got no... going to have no more production, because his money's going to be cut off, or if his war factory goes down, he's going to have loads of money, but no production, so in a bit of a tight situation. Also, I suppose the power is quite an important thing. He's going to be producing his units half the normal rate if he does lose that power. Needs to be careful with his Vs as well, but he is doing a pretty good job. Not sure how much Freestyler actually has. I think he's got 3 technicals with a few stripes, and in the meantime he is getting his oil. 1V is going to go down though. Bit of a shame for Boyka, but he is able to reproduce the Vs, so it's the missile defenders that he doesn't really want to lose. So still not actually in that bad of a situation, although he does need to protect that V, especially that one, because that's one of the heroic ones. Although the pilot will come out of there if he can get it safely back to his base. Freestyler is now getting that oil. Boyka should see this. He should be well within range, and also he should hear it really easy. He just needs to go there and just pick it off. He doesn't need to engage into all of this. We've got 2 missile defenders there in the center, probably just really for scouting. Freestyler has backed off of the oil. So it had to be quite a close game. It's like Boyka needs to do the damage ASAP really, because he's on a limited amount of time. A little bit of a trade here. A few missile defenders going down, which actually is the most important thing you need to be taking down. Forget the Vs, it's the missile defenders that are going to be causing the damage, because these Vs can still be produced. Them Vs need to go back and repair. It's the missile defenders inside that are going to be causing the damage, because these Vs without missile defenders are not going to do any damage to any of this. They're going to do a little tiny bit of damage, but then they're going to go down. So yeah, it's looking quite a tight game for Boyka, to be honest. Boyka really is on a time limit. He is getting a number of Vs out here, but he kind of needs to regroup. It's because he's kind of cut off. He's kind of got to pay attention to two control groups. He's got them on 3, he's got them on 4. That V is very close to death. We do have a rebel there though, so a building is going to be cleared out. He's going to have to evacuate. Still looking very bad for Boyka. Only 1 RPG in there. I think Boyka's going a little bit too close to that tunnel for comfort. Lost another missile defender. Probably needs to go forward with that ambo and crush these. He is doing actually a pretty good job at clearing those up, but he has lost another 2 Vs there at least. Another oil being captured. Freestyler now just spamming these tunnels, getting a command center. It's looking pretty bad for Boyka, to be honest. But it's just like how much damage can Boyka get off? He kind of needs to get in here and clear up this bit and stop that command center, because that's where support power is going to come in. He's probably pretty close to ambush if he's not achieved it already. He's got 2 oils, he's on 2 supplies. Boyka is getting a V count up again. Let's just see how many missile defenders are in there, or how many RPGs rather. There are 3 in there. Another one going down. Actually, the pilot died there as well. And there was a rebel inside of there, that's why it died. But it's looking pretty bad for Boyka. 1 V going down, but I mean the Vs can go down. It's the missile defenders he wants to be saving, but there's the rebel ambush, and that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin. He does have more Vs here. But I mean, they're empty, and now Boyka just quits. So GG, well played by Freestyler. Dozer hunted and just like kind of starved him off. Killed the missile defenders as the Vs were dying. And Boyka just couldn't get enough damage off. I thought when Boyka was in the base nice and early, he was going to close the game out early by picking off the arms dealer. Freestyler at that point didn't have the oils, but in the meantime, Freestyler did a really good counter attack rather than engaging the Vs. Picked off all the Chinooks, which kind of starved Boyka of money. Picked off his Dozer and kind of left Boyka in a really bad situation. You can see Freestyler collected 52k, Boyka on 39k, so well played by Freestyler. Okay, since that game wasn't as close as I'd liked it to be, we are going to watch another game between these 2 players. So it's again King of the Hill. It's just a little bit of a later on game that they played between each other. So this time we have Freestyler as Air Force in the green left hand side and south. I'm just thinking, was he green in the last game? I'm pretty sure he was green. And in the top right we got Boyka in the red as his stealth generals. Just kind of reversed armies, not exactly the same in the sense that it was Tox against USA before. And now we've got stealth versus air, so actually 2 of the strongest armies. People always ask me on the stream and on Twitch and on the YouTube comments which is my favourite army. The armies that you've seen on screen now are pretty much my favourite armies. They're the 2 strongest in the game. How can the 2 strongest not be your favourite? It's got Air Force as probably the strongest army in the entire game, and we've got stealth, which is probably all rounded. Again, one of the strongest armies in the game. Air Force probably the easier general to play, just because in the sense that you just have to make Vs, and It's just kind of one-dimensional, just making Vs and missile defenders and an ambulance, and that's kind of all you need to make. Whereas stealth needs to be kind of doing more actions, needs to be spreading over the map, making tunnels, kind of harassing. Stealth has definitely got like the uphill battle and needs to be doing all the work really, whereas Air Force can kind of just sit back and then push out later on. So yeah, stealth definitely requires a little bit more technical skill and whatever. Bit of a bad terrorist there from Boyka. So we have got harassment from the dozer. He's killed all of them workers. 2 workers from friendly fire from Boyka, and Freestyler killed up the rest, or cleared up the rest rather. Freestyler actually keeping his command center, which is something you can do with Air Force. You can make 2 supplies because the Chinooks only cost 950 as Air Force. That's slightly cheaper, 250 cheaper each than the normal USAs. Then you can afford to keep your command center and still build a war factory, and then just build the barracks a little tiny bit later. So we've got Boyka taking a bit of map control, so we've got 1 tunnel in the centre. Apart from that, not much other map control. We've got a worker here on the left, going to build a tunnel now. Boyka coming in here. Is it going to be a terror attack? It does have units in there. But only RPGs. He's going to try and pick off the dozer. Really bad micro there from Freestyler. Just kind of went back and just kind of died, but I think it's because he's paying attention over here. Killed that tunnel, which is probably worth it, stopping that tunnel for 1v. One of the reasons why Air Force is the strongest is because it's really hard to harass Air Force early on with GLA, because like those RPGs then they're going to do nothing. You can even drop off like 4 RPGs and it's still going to do very little damage to Chinooks. So a bit of a weird terrorist there. Yeah, so you kind of have to get quads to do harassment. If you want to do any decent harassment, you need to be going quads. Quads as stealth do cost 700, and V's counter quads really easily. So it's really hard to cause damage to Air Force. That's why Air Force is considered one of the strongest. So we've got Boyka trying to harass, trying to be annoying. We do have an RPG in there, going to do a little bit of damage to these Vs, but you see what I mean about... oh, there we go. Boyka read my mind. Or reread Boyka's mind, rather. Getting quads out to try and harass. He's actually locked on that as well, so he's actually going to follow it and cause some damage. Some missile defenders there, going to try and cause some damage. We've got a beloved demo trap that is going to be detected because he's kept his command center. He has just scanned it. But you see what I mean? He kind of just sat back at his base, built up. He even didn't do that good a micro or anything. He's just going to push forward now, and he's just going to cause massive damage to Boyka. So Boyka needs to make a decision now. Is he going to do a base trade, which is probably not going to go so well because you're not going to be killing buildings as fast as these Vs are going to be killing buildings, or he needs to kind of fight this. Is he going to be able to corner these on the side of the map? Because this is really bad positioning from Freestyler, and Freestyler is not making a move at all. He is getting sandwiched here. This is going to be really bad for Freestyler. Each of them Vs are like 800, all of the missile defenders 300 each, and he's going to leave behind all the scrap, and the technicals are going to get veterancy as well. So really bad there from Freestyler. If he'd just done a little bit of micro, just gone back a little bit and just keep going forward, he would have been able to cause massive damage, but that's really pretty poor from Freestyler there. It's pretty bad. Boyka, of course, has got massive map vision because he's got both of them towers there, so you can basically see 2 supplies of Freestyler. See if he's collecting from over here. In the meantime, we have seen a combat Chinook be created. Freestyler, because he... Oh, we have got a hijacker actually. Is he going to be able to get inside of that V? If it's got missile defenders in it, I don't think he can get inside of it, can he? Someone may want to correct me in the chat. I don't think you can get inside of it if there are missile defenders in there. But anyway, it was detected with the drone, and I think he scanned it as well. But now the Chinook has kind of revealed itself. Boyka's just going to switch to quads. So the kind of element of surprise has gone there. He didn't fill it to the max, although he doesn't have that many missile defenders actually anyway. He is going to use it to push out here though, so I suppose that's pretty good. He does have too many Chinooks there. He needs to be collecting from over there. That RPG still lives though, and it's serving its main purpose, which is providing a massive area of vision.
A warrior has fallen.
So he does need to take it out. He's actually left both of them. He does need to kill it. to stop Boyka having so much vision. When you deny GLA its vision, he doesn't know if he can attack with the techs, he doesn't know if he can attack with the quads, or if they're just going to walk to their death, so that's why you need to be picking him off. This RPG is going to try to escape. It's going to be picked off. We've got more quads coming in now, leaving that Chinook pretty low. 1V is going to go low too, but the 2 quads are going to be picked off, so that's 1400 there lost for Boyka. Boyka is now going up to a palace. He is on 3 supplies, so of course he can afford the palace and he can afford to be making buggies now. Buggies and quads are probably going to be winning this game all day long, but let's see if Freestyler can cause the damage that he needs to before the buggies get out in numbers, because once they're out in numbers with quads, it's going to be real hard for Freestyler to do anything, unless he's going to get his support powers right up there and be using like the Carpet and Spectre and the A10, which is another reason why the Air Force is one of the strongest. I think Freestyler's got a lot of MTVs, which are really
upgrade complete.
Don't recommend so much. This combat Chinook is not enough with 2 missile defenders in there for the quads. It's going to actually probably get picked off. Again, very bad from Freestyler. Not quite sure what he was doing there. I think maybe he's panicking a little bit, or maybe he's just trying to distract the quads fire with the combat Chinook. But it's the 1200 loss for the combat Chinook plus the missile defenders inside. I mean, you're talking 1800. So you're going to push forward with these Vs. I'm not sure that there is enough buggies out, if any at all. Does have a load of quads and technicals. Of course, he's still got them technicals from before where they're all vetted up. Jean needs to be careful or he's going to get picked off, but I think this area, the map, is going to get picked off. Boyka is wisely going to sell that, so he's not actually going to allow Freestyler to get the general's points that he needs to get, like the A10 and the Spectre, and later on like the fuel air bomb at level 5 and stuff. We've got the first buggy out and another 3rd supply taken to replace this one that he lost. Another advantage of USA is that you can long distance collect pretty effectively. Yeah, it does take a little bit longer than if you've got a supply right there, but certainly GLA can't do that effectively. Workers going all the way over the map. It's not going to be efficient at all. I think we do have a few buggies out now, so these need to be careful. That was a really good, decent Spectre, denying map control, definitely worth it. Rather than killing the building, I actually quite like that, denying the map control, because you're kind of keeping GLA in his base now. So you see like this whole right hand side and all in the center, GLA is not able to transport his units around the map really quickly like he wants to. I mean, this is his last kind of stronghold up here, but I think it's probably going to get taken out. This is all stealth. The only thing you should be able to see is that worker making that. Also, he does have a worker there. If Freestyler is paying attention, he should go over there and stop that. That'll be a massive advantage, but if he allows that to get up and gets the buggies out, then it's going to be a problem. I think he is going to stop that in time. Meanwhile, most of Boyka's units are on this right hand side in the south. Freestyler just needs to make a load of missile defenders and laser lock this if it does come into it, so he should be able to scare that off. But Boyka does have quite a bit though. He has got a Jarman coming as well, so maybe he can get in, but he is coming back with his Vs. That whole section there in the top left has been cleared up now. Boyka causing some massive damage. How many fully scrapped technicals are we going to see? So what is like 3 there, I think. Just need to be careful he doesn't lose his Vs there, because if he loses all his Vs or loses at least half of them, he's going to cause some big problems for Freestyler. He kind of needs to keep all of these Vs alive, because he's at the moment I think he's got quite a big advantage. He's got Search and Destroy up. Yeah, I suppose he's only on 1 supply. He keeps making combat Chinooks, which I find a little bit weird. Probably would just leave that, focus on Vs and fire bases. Especially since you're against stealth and there are quads on the map. And there's Freestyler paying attention. It looks like that Chinook is probably going to go down. Really smart from Boyka, just going behind the supply just so the laser lock doesn't work. It looks a little bit silly, in my opinion. Probably should be able to shoot over that, or the bullet should go through it or whatever, but you can't actually shoot through it. suppose if you wanted it to be more realistic, it would go through, but I suppose if USA could laser lock through that, probably make it a little bit more difficult for GLA. A little bit close to pop that. So buggies are going to go down. One buggy went down, one buggy did escape, so I think he's only got one left. He does have the buggy ammo upgrade. And this supply is going to mine out shortly. Just going to leave Boyka on one supply and no oils or anything. Boyka does have one supply though. Sorry, one black market. Does he have the worker upgrade? No, he doesn't have the worker shoes upgrade. Two buggies here, going to slowly try and pick off these Vs, and two of them are pretty low. Boyka is completely cornered in his base at the moment. In the meantime, Freestyler does have two oils actually, so that's a massive, massive advantage. Both of them oils going to slowly be picked off by the quads and the buggies. Does have two markets. Boyka, one of them is going to go down to the suspected gunship. It's one of many super strong powers that Air Force has. Boyka continuing to make markets, but I mean, I think Boyka's strategy is kind of sit back, wait for air to push in, and then kind of pick off his Vs with your buggies. Maybe sit back with the bounty. In my opinion, since there is 21k there and 25k there, you're probably better off leaving the markets completely and pushing out and taking one of these supplies for yourself, because you're not going to beat an Air Force. That supply, all its support powers, and the supplies in his base. He does have some left as well, plus the oil. You're not gonna try and out trade him, I don't think, and try and pick off enough Vs. Every V you pick off, there's going to be another 3 to replace it with the amount of supplies that are on the map. But I mean, it's the strategy Boyka's going to go for. Let's see if it does work.
Unit lost.
Freestyler protecting that area there with now a 5 ace, but also the combat Chinook. Yeah, Boyka, I think, needs to send a few workers to one of these sides, sell that supply and get some of your money back. Send a few workers over here and build a load of tunnels, get a bit of a stronghold going. These quads torn a little bit now. Do they attack the combat Chinook or the missile defenders? Quite micro intensive. It requires you to attack all of them, otherwise it's just going to attack the Chinook. I think the Chinook is a little bit closer. I'm not sure actually if they target air units, if they're the same distance as ground units. A little bit interesting. Looking pretty bad for Boyka yet again. I thought Boyka might be able to turn this one around with the opposite armies from before, but of course Freestyler is Air Force, whereas Boyka in the last game was USA, so it's a little bit more difficult. This map, by the way, is called Plant Waste. It's you may recognize it from a CNC3 map. I think it's called Small Town USA. I did play CNC3 for a bit. I do remember playing on that. It was one of the first few maps that I was always playing when CNC3 came out. There used to be a bug on CNC3 when it first came out. I think it was CNC3 and not Kane's Wrath. You'd build an engineer, and an engineer was able to capture buildings. So you'd run up to like a command center, for example. The engineer would go up to it, and it would then go inside it, and you'd take it for yourself. Actually, that still does happen on Kane's Wrath, and I think CNC3. But it used to be more instant. They allowed a delay on it. They added a delay on it, so where now you have to walk up to it, the engineer crouches, and you take the command center after about 2 seconds. But there used to be a bug where you would click you'd click on the engineer, click him to go inside a command center across the map, and then you place a building on top of the engineer, and the engineer would then teleport into the command center of the enemy. So you used to be able to capture buildings from way across the map. Massive engagement here going on. Loads of V's gone down from Freestyler, and Boyka actually doing a very good job at holding on. One thing I don't like about 0 Hour is the fact that Pathfinders, a $600 unit that build really quick and a stealth, can one-shot a Jarman as standard. I think if the Jarman is Vet 3, it might take 2 shots. But I think it's a little bit weird that a Pathfinder can just one-shot a super unit. Pretty good pick off there, and a bad cancellation by Boyka. Is Boyka going to be able to hold on or not? I don't know. Freestyler's now on how much cash? It's only on 1k actually. He's collecting from that top left side. He's collecting from there as well. Does have supplies there, but I don't think he's collecting. Quad going down there with a nice laser lock. Freestyler also does have this refinery. One building that's not captured very often on this map is the refinery, but it's a massive massive saving on every unit, every air unit, every Chinook that you make, I think even the Dozer as well. It's like a is it a 10% reduction? I can't remember if it's 10 or 20%. Over a long period of time, it definitely adds up. It allows you to make units when otherwise you wouldn't have enough money. It allows you to produce that unit, so again, potentially changing games. In this case, Boyka doesn't have it. Don't know if he has the capture upgrade or not. Boyka has stealthed a load of units, so he's stealthed a V. He's also stealthed a load of workers as well, so is he going to be able to get close to the enemy? At the top left, we've got quads fighting against this combat Chinook. Boyka's trying to clear up the drones with the V, which is a really good idea. He's got the drone on the V, so he should be able to pick it off. Is that going to go down now? Finally going to go down. The stealth work is probably not going to work so well on this map, probably going to be working better on other maps, just because the drones are everywhere. Bad micro from Freestyler again, not sure quite what he's doing there, wasn't paying attention. I don't think Freestyler should have gone Raps, to be honest. I think he should have left the airfield. He should have just been producing Vs the whole time and just charged into the enemy and had a bit of a better engagement. I wouldn't have made Raptors personally. He did get a nice Palace pick off before though. He's using the Spectre there to pick off the Palace again. Boyka again trying to make this Palace, but I mean, what is he going to try and make with that Palace? Is it not better just to stick to tier 1 units for the time being? Probably would say yes. He's going to try and make the Palace regardless, but I would probably just stick to making quads at this moment, because it's looking a pretty bad situation. Stick to making quads, and when Freestyler attacks with the Vs, hopefully you get a good engagement and pick them off with the bounty, or even just like charge down the center when these Vs are out of position. I don't think by making a Palace that he's going to be able to make enough buggies and units to kind of hold this off, but I might be wrong. Let's see if Boyka can pull this back. You see, that's the kind of thing he should be doing. Excellent worker placement. It's a stealth worker, so Freestyler has no idea about that. The first thing he's going to see of that is when the 2 RPGs pops out. Of course, this worker did walk straight down the center, I'm pretty sure, so he did see it earlier, but I don't think he was paying attention. Boyka needs to put them missile defenders, sorry, their RPGs straight back in there. Don't let it shoot, don't let it shoot. And I probably wouldn't have even attacked straight away, to be honest. He is attacking straight away. It's probably because he's seen this huge attack coming here. He needs to kind of do a base trade. You see, like, this Palace now is going to be useless, where he could have invested that in like 8 quads instead. He had 2.5k there, 2.5k within that Palace. He had 5k. He could have made a load of quads. He's doing a little bit of a nice base trade, but if he had a load of quads here, he's going to be leveling this base a lot quicker than if he's just got these units here. So Freestyler is now in a bit of a predicament. Does he continue with the base trade, or does he go back and save himself? He's not going to go back, and with his Vs he's going to go back just with the combat Chinooks, and that's actually really bad for Boyka. He's now left half his army here and half his army inside of the tunnel. Looking pretty bad again for Freestyler, looking pretty bad for Boyka. Freestyler now, I think, on 5 stars as well. We did see a fuel air bomb come in before and deny that Palace once more. We've got 2 combat Chinooks in again. This is why I thought that Palace was a bad idea. I would have stuck to making units at that point. When you have very little units on the map, you need units all the time. Buildings do not win you games, generally. Apart from demo traps, of course. Yeah, units are what win you games. Mobile things on the map that are going to attack and defend are going to win you games, and this is why Boyka's lost this time, I'm afraid. Well, just one of a few reasons. A little bit of a glitch there where the pilot actually just gets in and not actually vets up the unit. Bit of a bug in my opinion. Should always vet up the unit, but it's pretty much Boyka suffering a slow, painful death. This one, he's going to be closed out. Freestyler takes the win. Because he was the stronger army, and it is a little bit hard on that map for GLA to harass, in the sense that there's only 3 paths to the enemy's base. It's not like a wide open map where you can go everywhere. But it is a decently balanced map for air and stealth. I feel it's not massively overpowered, but air is always the stronger army in my opinion. So yeah, GG, pretty close on the supplies selected, pretty close on the units destroyed, and pretty close on the units lost as well. So yeah, GG. Hopefully you enjoyed, guys, and see you in the next video.